Alright, we're going to do a little bonus show just for fun. I'm Lance Ash, and here beside me on the sofa is my wife Bonnie, and she has something to say to all of you.
Hi, I'm Bonnie. This is Nothing But Worry.
That's right. It might help if you had an ominous voice for it. And this is Nothing But Worry. What did we eat this weekend? We didn't go. Oh, that's right. Peter brought home takeout from Taco Stand.
And we had mushroom stroganoff.
The mushroom stroganoff was so good. I couldn't stop eating it. I was miserable. Had to finish it off.
Yeah, it was 2 pounds of tofu, 2 pounds of mushrooms, and 3 cups of vegan sour cream, a whole package of those egg noodles. It's a lot of food.
Yeah, I'm getting a little tum-tum, and I need to do something about it. Cut back on eating so much.
You know, we still have a pizza from Fresh Market in the fridge.
Oh my God. You know what?
What?
I think we had to cook that this morning for my midday snack.
Okay, I'll cook that for your midday snack.
Cool. Supposed to go to bed roughly 9:30. I went to bed at 6:30 this morning.
I have gotten a lot of sleep myself this weekend. It's been nice. And right now, the rain is falling outside,
Oh yeah.
and it's just almost about to lull me to sleep right now.
Yeah, it's great. Maybe it won't be so hot at work tonight.
What's that on the table?
Where? Oh, Bonnie's birthday's coming up, so she indulged herself with a dozen roses. White, pinkish roses.
You said, do you want roses? And I said, okay.
I said that?
Yeah. I was looking at them admiringly as you walked up. And you said, would you like some roses for your birthday?
These are from Fresh Market, and
They're beautiful.
it's kind of like they're. Whereas the other place, Earth Fairs, I would describe more like a health food grocery store, quasi health food grocery store. Fresh Market is a little more like an upscale.
Indulgence.
Yeah, they have a very nice bakery, and for a long time, see, when they first opened the place, they had this Greek pizza, fresh made in the store, wink, wink. And then they stopped carrying it for a while. What?
Actually, they said that there was a guy who came in and prepped it. So he just used the resources they had at the store.
He runs it through the shrink wrap machine, I guess. I'm just fooling. Anyway, but we were in there yesterday, and I just happened to go look, and lo and behold, they started carrying it again.
Yeah, Fresh Market's the place that I used to call the home of the $20 coffee. Because Lance would go in there and get a free cup of coffee, and we'd walk out with at least $20 worth of stuff. Yesterday was $100 worth of stuff, including a $30 birthday cake.
Yeah, I was mortified when I heard the guy call out the total.
And we got a dozen roses.
Oh, that reminds me.
We got Italian cookies.
Too sweet for me,
And
to
we
be
got
honest.
cruffins with
Those were
cream
good.
cheese and raspberry jam. And we got sesame snacks.
That's what I was about to ask about. Are there any of those left?
No. And we got malted milk balls in dark chocolate and mint flavor. As I said, it's my birthday. I got a single slice of birthday cake because I've been craving this thing I had when I was 16. 16 was the first age I got my own separate birthday cake in like forever. And it was a white cake with pink roses all over it. And so I wanted, one of those cheap-ass sheet cakes. And they don't carry cheap-ass cheap cakes. They sell $30 ganache cakes and such. Well, they had a single slice of birthday cake. I got it home, and it was in like 6 or 8 layers. And the layers were a 1/4 to a 1/2 inch each. I got to eat 2, and I was almost sick. Gave Peter the rest of that.
It's funny how you lose your taste for sweet stuff as you get older. Some
Yeah.
people do.
Yeah, I didn't even have any of the chocolate cake until this morning. When Peter's like, I'm opening this. I said, okay, bring me a piece.
I
And
might have
everything we got, I've been having to take with Benadryl. And I got so bad last night with my allergic reaction, I had to take a steroid pill.
I might have a piece. I might not. We'll just see what happens.
Well, those pizzas are now $10 or $12 each.
Yeah, they are.
So, yeah, we actually got out of there cheap. Oh, I got strawberries and they're divine.
Okay. I deleted my what do you call it? Toolbar taskbar bookmarks for all the major news sites.
You're just sick of it, aren't you?
I am, and even I default to political videos on YouTube a lot, but I made a concerted effort to listen to music last night on the MP3 player. I have
How's it working with the little mini amp system?
It's great. It's not as loud. It needs to be louder, to be honest. I haven't really
But then the
gone
rest of
for
us
it.
wouldn't be able to sleep, dear.
Well, I listened to some stuff that was okay. There's a what was it? Avant-garde noise guitarist named in Japan named Keiji Haino, and he put out a couple of albums of free jazz with Peter Brutzman and Jim O'Rourke, and I started listening to him last night, and it was so absolutely key into the lock what I needed to listen to that I couldn't bear to listen to it. I was like,
What?
yeah, it was just so. It wasn't easy, fun music to listen to. It was demanding. It required attention, but it was just unbelievable. And the thing is, I wish to God it was easier to hook up the MP3 player in the car. I do. I hate to say it, but I do miss that extra time in the commute to listen to long stretches of music. Oh, I tell you something. I kind of you have big events in your life that demarcate different
What type of events?
big events that demarcate certain sections of your life. And for me, the surgery I had in November of 2017 is one of those events. And I kind of forget where I was going with this. But anyway, ever since that, I have tried to, what's the word? Look for really, really intense music and art and literature. And but the point I was making about you go through cycles. And on New Year's Day, after my 40th birthday, I decided, okay, the time has come, I'm going to start learning German. So I spent 14 years working at it, and then sort of just got frustrated about 2 years ago and quit, dabbled in French for a while. Also, ever since the surgery, I've been meditating, and a couple of months ago decided I've had a belly full of this. Well, the point is, I let these things go for months and months and months and months, and then decided to stick my toe back in the water again, and for some reason, everything clicked, especially with the German. I've been reading some German books lately and German humor pieces, and my understanding and my not fluency, but fluency of encompassing whole sentences at a time, despite the strange word order, is different. And it's very odd to have stuff click in your head after so long. And the meditation too, sort of. I don't. But anyway, the point is, what do you say to all this, Bonnie? This rambling nonsense.
Well, I'm reminded of having dinner on one occasion, and there was a Dutch nurse visiting the hospital I was working at. We all lived on the hospital compound in this country, and I'm across the table from my housemate and this Dutch nurse, and they are speaking in Dutch. And I just responded to them, and they went, "You understand Dutch?" I said, "You were talking in Dutch?" I had grown up on this NATO base that had Dutch and German kids on it, and English speaking kids. And so it all just clicked. So yeah, it happens. It comes back to you. When you started doing some of the French, I found myself correcting you at times. No, that's not the way you pronounce it. No, that's not the way you do the emphasis. It was just completely spontaneous. Yes, things come back to you. At least expected times.
So, I've decided to take up these things again, and I've made a renewed commitment to my art, which I do, periodically. Finishing this 20 painting series is, it's a big deal for me.
Why is that?
Well, because through painting the series, I've learned a lot of things.
Like?
Well, I think the main thing is just how picky I can get with the details and getting the image just right. And,
Did you go back and correct that one with the old lady that you had problems with, the color blending?
it's still not perfect. The very keen pinpoints of light are not bright enough. The strongest reflections could have been better.
We did something yesterday. You met someone new.
Oh yeah, my amp, my big guitar amp. I have a Fender Twin, and it's been on the fritz for years. I will wait and wait and wait and finally get it fixed again, and then it goes bad again. So I don't know for how long, it won't work. Just nothing. It won't come on. No sound will come out. So we found the guy who had fixed it before is dead. So we found somebody else new and made arrangements to drop it over at his place. And I get nervous meeting new people, and but spoke with this dude for a couple of minutes and then skedaddled out of there.
Yeah, he lives in this little bitty rabbit warren of houses. And we're going around these sharp, narrow curves, and all of a sudden we're about to hit his house. We turn the corner, and the road is filled with emergency vehicles and ambulance, police cars, all lights flashing. And we're like, did he die? But they're at the house next to him. And it was weird being over there because you're already so cramped into that tiny little space. And then all the emergency vehicles.
His place was like it was a really old, very small house, wooden floors.
1950s post-war.
Probably,
Yeah.
But that place would be perfect for one person. I really didn't take the time to look around very much, but
We had a good-sized living room. You said with a full drum set.
he had a drum set set up in the living room, and I saw some LPs laying around. Sort of slightly taller than me, skinnier, good bit of sun damage on his arms.
Yeah, he was like heroin thin from what I saw at the door.
Long graying hair, glasses. Anyway, oh my God, I hate this jerking myself back into line for another week of work. I hate it. I'm gonna have to work out tonight. But oh well. I'm damn close to finishing that painting, the 20th one in the series.
Just do it next week.
Right, and I was like, look, you're getting in a rush. You're finishing this too quickly. You need to just hold off. We'll double check it next Friday and fix any extra stuff and then sign it. Oh me! What I really want is I want a show of these 20 paintings so I can see them all together.
I just can't see that happening because you've deliberately left this space in the middle so that I could overlay words on the computer onto it.
Well, there's still a...
And it just feels hollow somehow.
Well, I did them deliberately with this in mind as illustrations for a book of rhyming couplets. And so I deliberately wanted them to be illustrative in nature. You know, a lot of commercial art, illustration art, children's illustration books, illustrated books, affect me just as much as you know, Jean Dubuffet and Jürgen Mindorf. You know, we were watching the thing on the New York Metropolitan Museum.
Has opened a couple new wings.
Right. They put out these videos of some of the ongoing exhibitions, and one of them was Arts of Oceania. I can't. Oceania. And
not to be confused with The Country in 1984 by George Orwell.
Right. So a lot of Papua New Guinea art and stuff like that. Well, there was a post-war group of German artists called Gruppe Spur, and that kind of art, the art of the folk art of New Guinea and stuff like that, was a big deal to them.
Now, what movement was Andre Breton associated with?
He created surrealism.
Oh.
He came out of Dada and directly created surrealism as a.
The reason I mention him is he has this amazing apartment in Paris that you can go into these days, and it is this collection of, a lot of people would mistakenly call it primitive art, but it's native art from peoples around the world. And of course, being in Europe, a lot of it was out of the African region to the south. And his collections span the entirety of the walls. And there are pieces of furniture that are displays of them. It is amazing. And you can see how people get inspired by these things. Another thing that was interesting was we came across something recently about some of the ancient cave art, and that was something that inspired Picasso. Mm-hmm. He did a series of cows, bulls, that were based, he began with the cave art, and he moved through generations of artistic influence in his series.
As I recall, the caves of Lascaux were a big deal for him.
Yeah.
I think he also liked a lot of Polynesian art. It was a big deal in Europe back then, Polynesian art. Andre Breton's apartment is basically just stuffed full of bric-a-brac from all over the place, but there's some prominent displays of stuff from Africa and the Pacific Islands.
Something Rivers, Pitt Rivers Museum in England. I'd like to go see that because it's a collection of. It started with a famous person's cabinet of curiosities, and then all these other people began to donate their cabinets of curiosities. And the cabinet of curiosities of Wunderkammer is based on the idea that you would have this cabinet in your house that you could open the doors, open the drawers, and throughout the entire cabinet it would just be lined with things that you found interesting. It could be anything from feathers and animal skulls to pieces of art that were found, or things that you would like to declare as art. Some people went so far as to collect things like saints' relics, and other people became obsessed with, as you said, Polynesian art. And the Pitts River Museum has collections of shrunken heads.
Well, that's funny you mentioned that. I was just about to say, I have always loved shrunken heads.
They now have artists on Etsy who make their own.
Well, again,
heads.
When I was a kid,
yeah, of course.
When I was a kid, in comic books, they would have these one-page ads for like Johnson and Company or whatever the hell it was, stuff like that. These companies that sold just all kinds of practical jokes and weird shit for kids. And it seems to me that they used to sell fake shrunken heads.
They used to sell sea monkeys, I remember that.
Yeah.
Now, when you were a kid, did you ever go to any of the Ripley's museums? I did.
I've been to 2 of them.
I went to one in Gatlinburg. I went to one in Panama City. And they're just a lot of great cheesy fun. It's like a tiny little freak show. It's not like going and watching Jim Rose's, traveling freak show where people are the freaks. No, they're the objects of the freaks. And of course, every single one of them have a reproduction of the Fiji mermaid, which is a monkey sewed onto a fish.
Yeah. Well, when I was a kid, this would have been the summer between 6th grade and 7th, I believe. We went to the one in Myrtle Beach and walked in the lobby, and there's this morbidly obese guy up on a throne.
Oh, that was embarrassing.
And I thought it was a wax figure at first when we walked in, and then when I realized it was a real person, I couldn't look. I was so embarrassed. And it was one of the famous twins. They used to ride those miniature motorcycles for an act. Anyway, my mother is so just backwoods gauche. She comes up to me in front of the guy, okay, and goes, "Did you see the fat man? Did you see the fat man? Did you see him?" "Yes, I did." "Well, look at him. That's what he's here for." Right, just
embarrassing.
Yeah.
So embarrassing.
Oh, God.
Well, we didn't have any live things. We had exhibitions at the ones that we saw.
Well, I'll tell you another story about. There's one in St. Augustine, and the 6th grade trip was to St. Augustine, and I should preface, all the even-numbered grades at the Christian school we went to, they had some trip, and the trips got more and more elaborate every year, so till senior year you went to Europe. Well, anyway, we went to St. Augustine in 6th grade, and we got to the Ripley's Believe It or Not Museum after it had closed. It was already dark. Well, Mr. Cummings, who owned the school, was a salesman, and he used his powers of persuasion to get them to open up the place after hours, because we're on a tight schedule here and they got to get value for money. So our class goes in there, our grade goes in there, and we're messing around, and it was kind of creepy. Yeah, it had wax figures of these creeps from the past, the guy in China with 4 pupils in his eyes. And so anyway,
2-headed cow.
Yeah, I think they may actually have had that there. Yeah. Anyway, so we wound up in the gift shop, and my memory of that gift shop has always haunted me because it was so creepy, because there was nobody there, and it was like after hours, and it was an old creepy Spanish mansion that they turned into this museum, and it's just I don't know.
Did you buy anything there?
Well, Ripley's Believe It or Not started off as a newspaper comic strip, and he had these paperback collections of the strips, and I bought 1 or 2 of those books. They were very popular around that time period with people I knew.
The easiest thing for me when I would travel, I didn't see these places on these school trips he's talking about. I would oftentimes just buy postcards. Mm-hmm. So I had a whole book of postcards from different places that we'd been. And the other thing is spoons, collectible spoons were a thing. And my stepfather got me involved with those. So every time
collectible spoons.
I know. I wish I'd actually kept them because they're kind of kitsch.
Oh God, yeah.
And so I had them from all over. And of course, you got to get one from each of the states, but then each of the places within the states have something, like one with dolphins and one with a ski lift and such. But it was just cheap little trinkets to take home.
When I was a kid, my mother had this charm bracelet that she'd gotten on her honeymoon up in Gatlinburg. And I was always fascinated with it because it had all these little charms on it that were representative of this and that. Oh. And one of them was a ski lift, because there's a ski lift up there,
When I was working at an antique store, I came across a charm bracelet with bridge things on it and gave it to your mother. It had different cards and...
You remember the one we got from my sister when she became a nurse, officially became a nurse?
Vaguely. I got one for Reed that had different tea things. teacups, teapots, teaspoons, and little plates and all this kind of stuff. I got her one of those.
Did we get that thing, that nurse's bracelet, at Kudzu or at Junk in the Trunk?
Honestly, I don't remember at this point.
Kudzu is like an antiques place, antiques mall up in Decatur. I tend to think some of it's retail stuff, but some of it's like little consignment booths.
There's 2 different sections to the store.
Yeah.
Well, actually, that's not in sections anymore. It's 3 parts to the store, and they used to have it divided into retail and, antiques, older stuff. But now it's just mixed in. There are a few artists that display there, but they have some fabulous things. I still want that $100 kettle there, but there was no place for me to test the kettle to see if it worked. It was this beautiful antique copper kettle.
There's an antique mall in Monroe we only got to go to once.
That's because it wasn't air conditioned.
Well, I bought this 10th anniversary.
It was at the mill where your grandmother used to work, wasn't it?
Well, there were so many. I don't know. She may have worked at a different one because textile mills were everywhere in the South back in those days.
This is the grandmother who had a line in her finger for years of drawing the string through the machine, and it rubbed the same spot, and it rubbed a line in her finger.
Yeah. I didn't know until many years later that she was a supervisor. She worked her way as a supervisor, and she was so flighty, and it's hard to believe it that she was ever on the ball enough to do anything like that.
Well, sometimes when people learn things by rote, they become really good, and they know the shortcuts. And so I can see maybe somebody being senior, gray-haired, they'd want in a position that could go around and tell the young girls at start, nope, you run it this way and it runs faster, it runs smoother.
I remember being a kid and there was some issue with her pension. So we had to drive up to this.
$80 a month? It was something ridiculous.
I don't know, but we had to drive up to this place to get it taken care of. And wherever we went, they had this place where they had every dress pattern, every sewing pattern for whatever company this was, Butterick or whatever the other big ones are, going back decades and decades. And they were in these big drawers, and there were just thousands of them. And I guess a lot of people don't remember these days. I remember I had dozens of female relatives who made their own clothes or made clothes for people in the family.
Yeah.
Sewing machines. My father's mother had a little like a little storage shed that they had bought, and they'd put in air conditioning, power, lights, carpet. She had
her little sewing shed.
It was a sewing shed. She had a sewing machine in there, and she had these cabinets with little tiny drawers all around her, and she could open them in little tiny buttons, just thousands of different kinds of buttons.
Latches, hoops. Yeah.
We were just talking the other day about how, eventually I'd like to have a separate little building in the backyard that's my painting studio. Go there, go into the office every day. And my grandmother's little sewing shed was like that. You'd like to have something like that too, wouldn't you? Your own little space?
I don't know. We set up my own little space a while back, a beautiful desk space. But the problem was it's next to the room where you sleep. Mm-hmm. And so popping the caps off the paint, being in there, adjusting the chair, the table, it just made so much noise. I couldn't enjoy myself. I couldn't relax.
Yeah, I kind of miss the old studio in the backyard. We used to live in my grandmother's old place, which is next door to ours. And they had an enclosed back porch, which I turned into a painting studio, and I could make a hell of a lot of racket over there while I was painting. But this
the sewing shed?
Huh?
The sewing shed, what?
No, but I'm saying I moved over here, what, 4 or 5 years ago now?
It's been quite a while.
But I'm getting to realize I really, really like having this little room in the house as a painting studio, music studio.
Yeah.
I did some writing last night, which I haven't done in a long time.
I'm doing more writing. I did 2 things this week. And one which got printed, one which did not. I just didn't feel like... Anyway, it just didn't meet up to my standards. I'd like to write more, but I'm not in a position where I'm uninterrupted. Lance will walk in the room and stand there until
This
I
is
stop writing.
this is an ongoing source of friction for Bonnie.
Yeah, I actually have a picture on the desktop that sometimes I hear him coming. I minimize everything and leave the picture up. It says something to the effect of, "Leave me the fuck alone," or "Get the fuck out of here." You know? It's like, stop coming in here and irritating the shit out of me. But, yeah, I do not have my own private space to work where I can close the door and it says, "Stay out," you know? Do not disturb, if you're going to put it nicely. There was a time when in the book nook I had a shelf unit at the back where I had all my crafts. But then I'd have to bring the crafts out and put them on the dining table. And it got to be so tedious, and then Lance became irritated because I was making wreaths that didn't go anywhere, except on the front door, which he hated. And I just said, fuck it. So I gave up that, which I really was good at, by the way.
Yeah.
But I gave that up. And then I had the floral things that I would do, the displays. I gave all that up. What else did I have back there?
We didn't get to watch the Saturday night movie.
Oh, yeah. I didn't want to sit there for...
Yeah, sometimes I get tired of sitting and watching stuff.
Yeah. We get up from the couch after doing this show and we're going, ooh, creaky old bones. That's an hour. Hour and a half, 2 hours of a movie, that's a lot.
Yeah. But, yeah, it looked really interesting. I wanted to, maybe next weekend.
The funny thing is I could sit at the computer for 3 hours and type straight. I mean, I'm constantly going back and editing and changing things and installing hyperlinks and all this kind of stuff. But time just disappears. Sometimes he'll just go hit the sack. Next thing I know is he's up for his afternoon break. I'm like, whoa, where did that go? I still haven't finished the article, so.
Well,
I can see how Stephen King writes for 4 hours straight.
Yeah. Well, we're going to keep this episode short. This is just a little bonus. This has been a really good weekend.
Did we do anything else yesterday or the day before? We went to Fresh Market. We went to drop off the thing at the Hunter guy's place.
We never got that prescription did we get the prescription from CVS?
No, we didn't. Let's ask Peter to pick it up when he comes back home.
He'll not be happy about that.
Pooh-hoo, he lives here.
He's one of us.
One of us. One of us.
That's from the movie Freaks by Todd Browning, isn't it? From 1930 something.
Yes, I think it is.
I think I've seen the beginning of it. But anyway. Oh my goodness. I've got to stay awake. I'm not really hungry, but I'm probably going to eat something.
Of course you are. You're going to have me make that Greek pizza.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Yeah, go get cooking, woman.
Yeah, God, I wish I was off tonight. But anyway. All right, well, I'll tell you what. Why don't we start making the pizza and I'll start making the video.
All right, let's do it.
Bye.